This week we had a problem with our heating system. For a while it had been losing pressure and shutting down, and I've almost daily had to repressurise the system before it will start up again. Now, we recently noticed a growing watermark appearing on the ceiling in the kitchen, and clearly a pipe is leaking somewhere, which is causing both the loss of the pressure and the damage to the ceiling. But how did the leak happen? Was there too much pressure in the system, kind of putting pressure on a weak spot which failed? Was it a joint failure? A friend told me recently that a friend had a similar problem because a mouse had got in and had gnawed at one of the plastic pipes. I hope that isn't our problem. The thing is, I don't have the knowledge, the skills, or the tools to fix this problem on my own. And if I try to fix it on my own, I risk causing more damage to the system in the attempt. So I need help. So what I did was I called in a friend who's a plumber. And he came and he helped me to sort the system out. Well, actually, he didn't help me to sort the system out. What happened was he sorted the system out and I watched him. You know, sometimes things can go wrong in our lives. It could be stress at a weak point that we can't handle. Someone might have come into our life and hurt or damaged us in some way. It might be our own fault, or it might be something we just didn't expect and can't control. But whatever, when something like that happens, just like the leak in my heating system can end up in the flood, the stuff inside us can come flooding out in a way which is both uncomfortable and damaging to ourselves and to the people around us. And just as the damage to the ceiling didn't become apparent until well after the leak had developed, very often many of us live with issues in our lives and bluntly we just suck it up and we struggle on by patching rather than fixing the leak, and it remains hidden until it's caused damage in some other aspect of our lives and we're forced to take action. Very often, by the time the damage is apparent to the onlooker, the hurt and the pain that has been carried for some considerable time, and fixing the problem is far more difficult than it might otherwise have been. Now, the leak has been fixed in my heating system now. The damage to the ceiling is still there though, and I have to repair and redecorate it. Very often things that we go through can affect or even cause damage in our lives even after the issue itself has been dealt with. But just as the best thing for my heating system was to call out a professional, to get someone who was a plumber to help, the best thing for us when we go through problems is to go to the professional, go to the expert for help. Go to the maker for help. God created you. God created me. And he is the expert who knows every thought of us, every part of our minds, every part of our spirit, and actually every part of our body as well. The Bible says God knew us when we were being created in our mother's wombs. God can bring peace into our lives and into our spirits in a way that no one else can. Jesus says in Matthew 9 verses 12 and 13, it is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. And he goes on to tell us, I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners. So I would suggest that coming to Jesus in prayer when we're under stress is the first thing we should do, and not the last resort when we've tried everything else. If we do that, this promise of Jesus can really become a reality for us. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls.